In today's video, we're going to go over 5 questions people usually ask me when they're looking to make a move to Cedar City, Utah. My name is Elizabeth Prisbrey. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group. If you are looking to make a move to Cedar City or really anywhere in southern Utah, I would love to help you out with that. Please feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. My contact information is down below in the description. So I get a lot of questions from people when they are looking to move to Cedar City, but I almost always get these 5 questions from people that are not familiar with southern Utah or these smaller towns and how we do things. So we're going to go over 5 of these questions that I get from almost every single person that looks to move here, and chances are you've already been asking yourself these questions as well. The first question is, why are there so many homes without a privacy wall or without a block wall or some sort of fencing going around the backyard of the property line? Well, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that Cedar City is a very custom area. We don't have a lot of tract housing. And what I mean by that is there are not a lot of subdivisions where you can go in and have about 5 to 6 different floor plans that you can choose from. There's a model home or two that you can look through, and there's always a sales agent sitting that home. We do have a few, and if you want to reach out to me, I can go over those with you to see if those are ones that fit your needs. But for the most part, Cedar City is very, very custom. We will have builders that will come in and they will develop lots, meaning they'll bring in the streets, the sidewalks, the gutters, they'll bring the utilities to the lot. So you can come in and you can purchase a lot and you can build the home from the ground up, or you can purchase a spec home, which a builder has come in, they've purchased the lot themselves, built a floor plan where they've chosen all the selections, and you can come in and purchase it that way. So now if a builder does that, if they come in and they purchase the lot and they're building the spec home, a block wall or fencing around those property lines is going to be a high added cost, and most of the time they're not getting that return in the value of the home. So here's what I mean by that. They build a single family home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and they are looking to keep that cost low for you so you can go in and purchase it at an affordable price. Now that fencing can be quite expensive, especially depending on the lot size, and we usually have much larger lots here than you would expect to see in a city. Most of the time our lots are around 1/4 to 1/2 acre, so putting the fencing on those can get pretty costly. Now there are a few options available to you regarding this. For example, if it is a new build and the builder is selling it, then you could potentially negotiate the installation of the wall with your purchase price. However, I would note that that is an added cost for the builder, so you're likely going to need to offer more than what the builder is asking for the home, or more than market value, I should say, in order to give the builder incentive to want to put that wall in. Now I get a lot of people that say, well, if he wants to sell the house, then he'll put the wall in. But in reality, that's just how it's done here in Cedar City. The home is going to get sold. If you want to pay for the wall to go in, most of the builders are pretty accommodating with that, but we would need to negotiate it. Now be aware that if you are getting financing on the home, you want to make sure that you're not offering so much on the property that that appraisal won't come back at what you need it to in order to secure that financing. The second option with this privacy wall is you can go in, you can purchase the home at market value, and then you can hire the block wall contractor on your own, hopefully saving a little money for you because there won't be a builder markup there. Now, a lot of the times what I see people do here, and what I did, was I split the cost of my wall when I built my home. So when I bought my lot, there were homes surrounding all sides of it, but there were no privacy walls. So we did need to install our privacy wall because we wanted one. So we went to our neighbors to the north, to the east, and to the south to see if they would split the cost of that wall with us. And luckily, all of our neighbors were great. They did split that cost, which cut it in half for us. If you're putting that cost into the purchase of the home, you can't guarantee that you're going to cut the cost of the wall in half for you and get the help from your neighbors. Another thing to note here is that if you don't have any neighbors around, then you're either going without that privacy wall for a while, you're waiting for them to come in to put the wall up with you, or you're paying for it on your own. So this is pretty unique to this area or these smaller towns in southern Utah. There may be other areas in the country that do this. They did not, however, do this in Las Vegas, so this was new new to me as well when I chose to move here. The second question I get a lot is, why do some of these newer construction homes have landscaping and some of them don't? We're looking to very similar answers here to the privacy wall. There is little return for the builder. The builder is coming out of pocket to put in this landscaping, and they're not seeing that return back in the purchase price of the home. You can always go in and negotiate that with them, but be aware you are going to be paying higher for that property if they put the landscaping in, and there will likely be a builder markup on it. My personal recommendation will always be to purchase the home at market value and then go in and hire the appropriate people to put in that landscaping and to put in the privacy wall. Now, there are some neighborhoods that already have that front yard landscaping in. A lot of those have to do with the CCNRs. If the CCNRs require that landscaping to be put in a certain amount of time, sometimes it's more beneficial for the builder to just go in, take care of that so that the home sells more quickly. And if you see a home sitting on the market just a little bit longer that is new construction that doesn't have any landscaping, oftentimes I'll see builders go in and they'll put some sort of desert landscaping in the front yard of that home just to give it a little bit more curb appeal. I think this is beneficial on their part because we all know that's cost taken off of the buyer, helps it to sell because it gives it better curb appeal, just cleans it up a little bit, but not all of the homes here will do that. So just be aware. Another thing that I wanted to note about the privacy wall and the landscaping is the builder does not need to put in a privacy wall or put the landscaping in order to get their certificate of occupancy. That is what they get after all their inspections are finalized. They will get their certificate of occupancy, which means that they can now sell the property and it is livable and you can move in. They don't need the privacy wall or the landscaping to do that. So unless it is cost effective for them, they're not going to do it. Now, the third question that I get a lot, almost every buyer that comes in, is why are there so many unfinished basements? You would think you're buying a home, it should be completed. The basement should have walls and drywall and paint and flooring and carpet and fixtures, but in Cedar City and the surrounding areas, we have a lot of unfinished basements. There's a few reasons for that. This really has to do with affordability, so it allows builders to keep that home in an affordable range while giving families the option to get into that home but then grow with it. So for example, you go in, you purchase a home with 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but it has 3,000 square feet. The main floor is only about 1,500 square feet. The rest of it is in the basement. You will see that you have 3,000 square feet, but only 1,500 square feet of that is finished, which means the house is going to be more affordable than it would be if that basement was finished. But you could potentially finish that basement in the future, allow your family to grow, or have that extra space that is needed at a time when it is more affordable for you without having to pick up and completely move out of that home. The fourth question I always get is, how much does an unfinished basement affect the cost of the home? So I'm going to give you a few price point ranges that I see happening this year. We're midway through 2024. Of course, it's going to adjust as the years go on, but we can always kind of look at this and break it up into a home without a basement, a home with an unfinished basement, and then a home with a finished basement. So let's just take, for example, the home I was talking about before. If we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home that we're looking at about 1,500 square feet, and there is not an unfinished basement in there, right now we're looking from about the low to the mid 400,000s on a home like that. Now, if we put in an unfinished basement, our price point is more around the high 400,000s to the low 500,000s. Now, that unfinished basement now becomes a 3,000 square foot home. So you have more square footage, but you are not paying the same price per square foot for that property that you would if it was finished. And honestly, you're paying less for that than if you were to build up or have a second story. So now let's say we take that same home and we've got a finished basement on it. So now we have 3,000 square feet that are finished. About 1,500 of it is underground. So we already know it's not getting the same value per square foot if we were to go to sell it. But if it is finished out, you're looking at around $600,000 plus for this finished basement. It's really going to depend on the type of selections and fixtures that you have in there, whether or not it has a walkout basement. There are a lot of things things that will apply to this. However, it gives you kind of a rough estimate of how this changes throughout the process. Now, the fifth question I get, and the final one that we will go over today, is how do I finish out this basement? So I'll have people that come in, they've never done this before, they purchase a home with an unfinished basement, and they're thinking, what are my options? Well, if it is a new construction home, meaning you're purchasing the home from the builder, it's not a resale, because honestly, we will have homes in resale that have an unfinished basement because the person that originally bought it didn't ever go in and finish out that basement. They shut the door and used it for storage. A lot of people do that here. My daughter's friend lives in her unfinished basement and it works just fine for her. So people make do with whatever they can do. But let's say that it is new construction, you're purchasing it directly from the builder. You can potentially go in and negotiate for them to finish out that basement, but you're going to need to tack that on to the purchase price. Have it appraised when you go in if you are getting a loan, or if you are paying cash, that's completely up to you if you get that appraisal. But you can negotiate that into the terms of the loan. They will likely require a non-refundable deposit if they are going to go in and finish out that basement prior to closing. Your second option is purchase that home at market value, then go in and hire that builder or a general contractor to come in and to finish out that basement for you. There are a few pros and cons to doing this. The con really is going to be that you are going to pay a markup for the expertise of the general contractor or that builder that you're working with. They basically are going to manage everything, permitting, they're going to work with all the trades. So you will have that markup. However, in using them, that relieves a lot of stress from you because they're doing this every day, all day. They know how to do it. They have those relationships with those trades and they can offer their expertise and guidance during this process. And then the last option is for you to finish the basement out on your own, piecing it together with those different trades, which means you'll need to find your framer, you'll need to find your electrician, you'll need to find your plumber, you'll need to find your cabinet guy, your flooring guy, whatever it is. It is completely possible for you to do it, but you are adding on more headache if you are not familiar with this area. So be aware of that as well. It will save you cost, it may not save you time, and it definitely won't save you from a headache. Take that from personal experience. All right, those are 5 questions that I almost always get from every buyer that I help make a move to Cedar City, Utah and the surrounding areas. We will likely still have these conversations. When you contact me, we can dive into them deeper. That's okay. Remember, my name is Elizabeth Prisbrey. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group, and I really would love to help you make a move here. Please feel free to reach out anytime. I promise you I will respond. All right, until next time, have a wonderful day.